Hi, my name is Anthony Guerrero, and today we're going to be talking about section letter B of our drumline cadence so far. If you can see letter B right now. So the first thing, like I always say, disregard letter C, and we can now disregard letter A. We're only focusing on letter B so far, okay? So there's a couple things you have to understand because there's a lot more symbolism within this composition right now. And so the first thing I need you to understand is letter B is the right face cadence, which is what I just performed. The other thing you have to realize is this right here, that's the first part of the cadence. It's a measure rest, and then written above it is a fermata. Now, I have manuscript paper here. If you look at the manuscript paper, there's a whole bunch of definitions, and the definition for a fermata is it's a hold or pause. Usually they're used for endings, but this one, which I'll explain in a couple minutes, there's a different reason that the fermata is written in. You also have a break. If you can see the two lines right here in this measure for letter B. So on the manuscript paper, that just means break or a short pause. And there's a reason it's written in there. For this cadence, you have to interact with the drill team a little bit. So under here also, if you'll notice, this measure, it says wait for the girls. So for those who have been working with me at Universal Unique Drill Team and Drum Squad, you know that part of our cadences is our drummers, we wait on the commands of the girls, the dancers. And so when I say wait for girls, meaning they're going to call it out. So until they call it out, your job for letter B is to stay at this measure rest right here. Do not play anything until further instruction. Once the girls say the name of the cadence, then you can start into our actual composition itself. And it's simpler. This one is very easy. So this beat written right here is we have a dotted eighth note to we have a dotted eighth note. Eighth note rest, we have an eighth note, another eighth note, and then an eighth note rest. And then what I want you to notice here is we have, instead of 4 typically, it's now 6 sets of 16 notes. So instead of da 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 da, it's going to be da 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 da. So with the 8th rest, this is what it's going to sound like. Da 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 da. So in drumming, there's also some of the sight reading symbolisms that you have to mention. So this is 4/4. So you have a dotted eighth note, 2 eighth note rest. You have an eighth note, and you have 6 sets of 16ths. That all together equals 4 beats in a measure. So it's 4/4. And the first thing you have to notice is there's the arrows. Like I said, like in the previous videos, I've said that arrows in sight reading mean accents. Well, that just means, like I said, you want to get a louder volume compared to if you wanted to play a regular note or a grace note. So accents, that louder volume is going to require for you to play this. And then the next thing I want you to notice, if you look at our 6 sets of 16s, under here, you have a little arrow that's written. That's called a crescendo. So crescendo, which on the manuscript you'll see on the definitions, means gradually louder. Okay, so this is a crescendo. This is what it looks like. Okay, so with those 16th notes, you want to really make sure to start out softer than you're gonna progress, because you want the audience to hear that 16. You want to build on that. So instead of just, you want to build. Right? Okay, so together with our accents, our crescendos, and our volume progression written in, our beat, our rhythm, which we've already figured out, it's da 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 da. So with the volumes, it's going to be da 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 da. Okay, so it's alright. So that's the idea of the composition. You want to start softer than you're going to actually play it at the end. So you want to build, okay? The next thing is, so like I said, you have dotted eighth note rest, eighth note, and then 6 sets of 16th notes. And that equals 4 beats in a measure, so that's one measure. And then previously we've worked on 2 measure repeat signs, so this is going to be a 1 measure repeat sign. So there's 3 repeat signs, which means that if you have 1 measure of 4 beats in a measure, these 3 repeat notes right here just means that ultimately the composition or the rhythm is going to be played out for 4 measures. So if I have 1 measure and 3 repeat signs for 1 measure each, it's going to be 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 3 2 3 4 4 2 3 4. So ultimately you have this for 4 measures. The last thing I wanted to do is, so after we get through the repeats, we play all the repeats, we're going to stop here. So if you notice on the last bar section of the entire composition, there's a massive bar that's written in and colored in. Okay, so this is called an extended measure rest. So similar to what we had on the first measure where we don't play anything, an extended measure rest is where we don't play anything. And the number on here, what will happen is if you have a number of parentheses, that means it's going to be written in for how many measures that you're not going to play. And basically, we go through our 4 measures, we stop, and we count 8 measures out. Now, there's a difference. In the beginning here, right, we're not counting at all. We're waiting for the girls to call off the composition. So you have a measure rest, a fermata, and a short break, which is plenty enough time for the drill team to prepare to lead the drummers. The difference is, with these 8 measure rests, you're not actually stopping the tempo. You're continuing on. So I play 4 measures, right? And then I come here, and instead of just stopping, you have to be counting in your head. So part of an extended measure rest is you have to know how to build that internal clock. So it's going to be 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4, and it's going to go so on. And approximately for this composition, it's an 8 measure bar extended rest. All right, so that's everything together. Like I said, I posted a video where the composition is actually played, and like I said, that beginning fermata ending right there is why I took a minute before actually starting the metronome. And that's basically the whole thing. So altogether, it is going to be a 13 measure composition. All right, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this helped you.